when you take away from that and you start replacing your negative thoughts with positive thoughts, it just made a huge difference, not only in my day, but also in my sales.
And what specific concepts, strategies, whatever, have you picked up that...
You're gonna have to give me a bigger challenge than that.
Okay.
With Paul on the phone, it made a difference because they felt like they were special. I would recommend it to anybody who is already successful in sales.
Hey guys, welcome today to this edition of the Housing Industry Insider blog. I'm Paul Montalongo, and you have the unique pleasure today of hearing me interview one of my elite coaching students, Kelea Piper. For those of you that don't know, I offer an elite coaching program, and this elite coaching program, I work very closely hand in hand with sales professionals in the housing industry, basically to help them ramp up their business, take their business, their sales to another level. And so I only have a handful of these because of the time and attention that I devote to these individuals. But I thought just for a few moments, you might like to hear a little bit about the program and some of the insights that Kelea has gained by being in this program. Let me start off by asking you, Kelea, first of all, if from all outward appearances, you don't really need this program. It's like you're successful in your own right, and especially for a young woman, you've achieved a good deal of success in new home sales and in the real estate industry. Why in the world would you even have somebody coach you?
Well, I always feel like you can never stop being a student. You learn something new every day, and after you came to our
the corporate training.
The corporate training, I really enjoyed your insight on things, and so I just decided that, why not go ahead and apply for it and see if I can learn something new, maybe something I'm doing differently or a different angle on customers and sales.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Good. And it's no secret the last year in the housing industry has been. Let's call it interesting, shall we?
Interesting is a good word. Good word, Paul.
Okay, interesting. Because that's one of the things I share with my students, is like how you look at things, right? The mental angle that you put on things. But how has the industry affected you, affected the clientele, the buyers, the market? I mean, just give us some of your insight. Now, San Antonio, by the way, is like one of the best markets in the country.
And it's been challenging, I think, just to answer your question, challenging to relay that to customers who are especially, San Antonio is just a melting pot, and customers are coming from all over other places that they're really hurting, and they're getting the negative media and the negative hype, and trying to relay to customers that we're doing okay in San Antonio. It's not so bad. Has been probably one of the most challenging.
Did you find that they're affected by media influence and
maybe what friends and family who live elsewhere are telling them, just the uncertainty of what, for a while before the election, what was happening with the government, what was going to come of it. So
okay, yeah. So how have you helped them bridge that perception?
Well, again, after the election, and I think, and without getting into too much detail, when we had the tax credit, and now we have the actual $8,000 that's you're not having to pay back. That's certainly helped a lot. Also, the dwindling of inventory and available homes, and being able to show those statistics, printing out positive news articles in the industry, and just mailing it off to customers and showing them that we're really doing okay.
Right. One of the things that I appreciate about you is, for lack of a better word, your tenacity. It's like you stick with these customers. And in the coaching program, by the way, one of the benefits is that the students, they can call me at any time, write to me at any time. They have my personal phone number, my cell phone number, and present to me scenarios and issues that are happening as they happen with customers. And I know that's happened a couple of times.
Poor Paul. Every customer has their own life and what they perceive to be negative or positive. And so I think spending the time up front and really getting to know who they are helps a lot in sales to get them to where they're going, and to be comfortable with it.
Okay, let's get to the fun stuff now.
Okay.
The coaching program.
Okay.
Okay. What has it done for you, with you? I mean, what specific concepts, strategies, whatever?
Definitely by far the Sales Awareness Journal.
Okay.
I
Why
didn't.
don't you tell them what the
Okay, the Sales Awareness Journal, for those of you who don't know or have not taken Paul's elite coaching program, is a journal that you keep daily, and you write down your what you're thinking in your head, good and bad, positive and negative. And for me, I didn't realize how much I was beating myself up every day. I just didn't realize the negativity or that was hindering me. But you write down what you're thinking, what goes through your mind, down to I should have ironed my shirt today, or I look really good today, or whatever it is, positive and negative. And then after you go through that process and you really realize just how negative, or maybe a customer didn't treat you right, or they're mad about construction, or something happens and the closing is delayed, etc. When you take away from that and you start replacing your negative thoughts with positive thoughts, it just made a huge, huge difference, not only in my day, but also in my sales. You think, oh, well, it's just journaling. But if you're really committed to it, you get a lot further into what's really going on inside you, and you can kind of narrow down to maybe what's hindered the last sale, or what's going to prevent you from maybe making the next sale. It's a lot more extensive than it sounds, I think, and until you actually take the time to do it and turn it in, because then your you have to hold yourself accountable,
Right.
And that's a big deal too.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I appreciate your tenacity on it. And for some of my other students that have turned these in, it's remarkable how much of the same thought process we all have.
Yeah.
Because we all, as humans, we all have these thoughts, but it's the awareness, right? So what else have you picked up or gleaned from the elite coaching program?
I really enjoyed, Paul came in, I had a particular customer who I had sold to, and we did this exercise where we contacted the last, I believe it was 12,
Right.
10 or 12 customers who were happy and satisfied with my services and the company's services. And we did a conference call with Paul on the phone with my customers, and Paul just kind of got into details as to the process that they went through with me, the emotional process that they went through with me, and the outcome. And when you go back to your last 10, 12, even 5, you start to see a trend.
Yeah.
And of what you're doing, or maybe what you could do differently, or what you're doing right. And that was really helpful too, just to do a little research, a little background on what they were feeling. And with Paul on the phone, it made a difference because they felt like they were special. They felt like they could be open and honest to a third party. And, of course, if I call them and I say, well, how was your experience? They're going to say, oh, it was fine, because they don't want to.
They don't want to offend you.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So with Paul on the phone, it really allowed me to dissect what my process was like and what I could maybe do differently.
Right. And we do that so that we can interview their what I call their mental real estate. It's like find out where they are, their perceptions. Because every buyer comes in with a certain set of perceptions, right? So it's your job to either change those perceptions or validate those perceptions. But you don't know unless you ask.
And I will tell you that customer sent me 2 to 3 other referrals
Really?
since that interview.
Oh, great.
Or that phone call.
Do you see the market changing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every day is changing, and I mean, my email is full of past customers, people who have sold their home and now can purchase, or have saved up for their down payment. A challenge definitely is still undeniably the mortgage industry and lending institution, but yes, it's definitely changing for the better.
So any other insights you'd like to share with our viewers about the coaching program, or about the industry, or about your position?
Mainly
whatever.
just that it was very well worth it, and I would recommend it to anybody who is already successful in sales. People who are not only just trying to get up to the next level, but when you're already at a certain level, when you just want to take it up a notch and then take it up a notch from there, it never hurts to come back to yourself and either validate or change something that you could be doing different or better. And I definitely thank you and was really appreciative. And you just, when you turn the camera back around on yourself, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. If you are interested in more information about my elite coaching program, send me an email and send it to paul@paulmontalongo.com and put in the subject line, coach me, coach me, coach me, please, Paul. And we'll talk. So again, thank you for coming into this issue of the Housing Industry Insider. Kelea, thank you so much for coming into the office today and being interviewed. And until we see each other again, or until our paths cross, take great care.